because something that I learned is that whenever I'm afraid, I should take off my shoes and spread my arms. First, I want to say that I am from Vietnam, so I'm so excited and honored to be here to speak with you today. So, it was amazing what we just saw, because the poem and the song was about freedom, and that's exactly what I'm here to talk about. And I did not know that was before my talk. Today, I want to share with you the journey of myself, the journey of an Asian woman to break free. And this journey does not just apply to women, but it applies to all of us. And I hope that my honesty and my vulnerability to stand here and tell the truth might inspire you to break free too. So as you might see, I am an Asian woman. I have short hair, dark skin, I have 2 tattoos. I am an entrepreneur of a small startup, which also means that my work is highly unstable. On top of that, I'm married to a Brazilian. After 4 years of long-distance relationship, and now we have a long-distance marriage. The sum of that makes me the nightmare model of a daughter for any Vietnamese mom, mine included. In fact, if my mother was here seeing me, she would run on stage and she'd be like, "Hey, cover your belly, and what are you doing here without shoes?" Now, don't take me wrong, I love my mother. Let me tell you about her. My mother is a force of nature. She's a doctor. She has a PhD. She runs a foundation to support HIV/AIDS people. There's 40 people under her in that foundation. And she also cook, do the grocery, do the dishes, make dinner. My mother teach me well. She teach me early on how a woman is supposed to be. She teach me that I'm supposed to study well, go to university, have a really good degree, do my best. After university, find a nice husband, probably a Vietnamese, not a Brazilian, and have kids when I'm 25. It's never occurred to me, though, how loving she gave that wish to me. It never occurred to me that I might want a different life. It never occurred to me that I'm 26 and I might not want to have children until I turn 30. But that was what my mother wanted of me. And it does not turn out as she planned, obviously. But I was not always like this. I was born somewhere of 1990 as an introvert, sensitive little girl. At home, I learned how to meet expectation and be the role model for my brother and 10 siblings in my extended family. And in school, I learned how to be a good student, to shut up, to follow the rule, and not ask questions. But I was a sensitive child who were curious and who were often puzzled by all the things that I could not understand about life. Like, why do I have to take math class instead of piano class? Why do the boys on the front row, when I was first grade, turn back to me and look at me and say that, "You ugly"? Am I ugly? Why do mom and dad sometimes fight with each other? And why my dad sometimes come home drunk? And why sometimes on the bus ride from school to home I was touched by men? I had so many questions. But the society where I lived did not encourage asking these kind of questions. There was taboos everywhere. And I felt as I growing up, even though I was so small, this unbearable inhibition. As if my face was taped, and as if I was a bird being locked in a cage, neither could sing nor fly. And very early on, when I was 9, I got to know something that I didn't even have a word for it, didn't even know that it existed, that was depression. I started collect sleeping pills. I was 9 years old. I started collect sleeping pill, and I still remember that one afternoon when my brother saw me with a cup full of sleeping pills, and he was 3 years old. He looked at me, and his eye was panic, and he told me, "Sister, sister," with his little voice, "Sister, don't eat it, it's poisonous." And so that was my brother that saved me from that suicidal tendency. And I made a vow as I hang on to my life that I will free myself. I would find my freedom. And if I get emotional, because this is something that I connected really deeply. And so I was so small, and I was turning to a teenager, and I made my first assumption about freedom. Assumption number 1. Freedom means that I would then put on a really tight fist and I would punch against the system. I would fight against the system. I'll be a rebellious person. I cut my hair, I skip class, I date with men older than me in secret, and I also become an online gamer. Yeah, and then I get a bit older and going through all this craziness. I have my assumption number 2 about freedom when I turned 18, that success will give me freedom. That if I could perform and perfect myself and get ahead all of my peer, I will find the freedom and the love that I desired. And so that's what I did. I started university. I work on a bunch of things, going on different clubs. I compete. I join competitions, and I joined different organizations, different activity. I found this beautiful organization. It is AIESEC. Yes. I found this beautiful organization that is AIESEC, and I work and I work and I work. 6 years, I was running in a circle of performing and perfecting. I broke all the records. And there I was, 24 years old. When I turned 24, I was working in what I thought I wanted. I thought that I've arrived at this dream. But I remember that afternoon, as I walked home from the office, it was Rotterdam, the Netherlands, in 2014, early spring. I remember something. I remember my heavy footstep. I remember me looking down on the street. I remember the heavy laptop on my shoulders. I remember the silence of the street, and I remember the most was how lonely and powerless and trapped I felt. All of a sudden, I was that 9-year-old girl again. All of a sudden, I was that 9-year-old girl in her bedroom holding on to that sleeping pill again. I was trapped again, still in a cage, could not sing, could not fly. In that moment, something dawned on me. That I learned first time, the first real lesson of freedom. That there is nothing out there. There's no fighting out there with the world. There's no success out there. There's no recognitions from other people that could give me the freedom that I desired. I learned that true freedom comes from within. And in that moment, I know that I have to stop running around and find it out there. I need to start a journey within. Few months later, I came back to Vietnam. Something told me that I have to come back to the place where it all began, to my own bedroom. So come back to my parents' house, come back to my own bedroom. I did not even know what to do. I just know that I need time, and I allow for myself 6 months for this inner journey that I didn't even know what to do with it. But as I start walking this journey, I begin to ask myself tough question. Who am I, really? What do I really want? Not just what my parents want, what my friends want, what my boyfriend want, what the society want. What do I want deep down in my heart? And what am I here to give? Was my birth an accident? Or am I here for a reason? I did not know how to answer all of these questions, but I was determined to find out, because I learned lesson number 2 about freedom, that I cannot find myself before I found myself. In order to find myself, I need to know myself first. In order to free myself, I need to know myself first. And so I start writing about this question. And the more that I write about the question, the more I find myself looking back, connecting the dot, writing about the stories that happened to me in the past. And the more that I write about those stories, the more I write about pain. And the more that I write straight to the pain, and the more tears that I shed as I write about them, the more I feel healed. I did not know what I do was healing. But then now I know what I did back then. And then I learned that in order to find myself, I need to heal myself from the past. I need to be able to let go of all the things that is false so that what is left is the truth. And I let go of the past by gratitude and forgiveness. To forgive the people who have hurted me. To forgive myself for hurting so many people. And for feeling grateful that those things happened, that accidents happened, that time when I was hurt happened. And to choose to believe that they happened for a reason. Those people and all these stories happen because whatever doesn't kill me makes me stronger. And as I go through those months of deeply searching and deeply writing into the pain and deeply letting go and forgiving and feeling grateful and choose to move on, I was connected to the deep truth of who I was. And I had this breakthrough moment during my yoga teacher trainings where we meditate for 3 to 4 hours every day for the course of 1 month. There was one day I go to the class and I just could not stop crying. And I did not sob. I cry. Everybody was worried. But strangely, I felt good as I did it. Though I cried, but inside I feel that I was cleansed by the waters of my tears. That I had another chance now. I cried because I wanted to grieve for all the time that I wasted being somebody else. And in that tears, that whole day where I shed my tears, I say to myself that I would never, ever waste a moment, a minute of being somebody else, because life is too far precious for that. And after that breakthrough, I know what I want. I know what's my mission, I want is to be able to every day love and learn and create beyond fear. My mission is to inspire my generation to heal themselves and find themselves and free themselves so that they could offer their gifts and talent to the world, so that they can create a magnificent life for themselves and a magnificent world for us all. And so, from that clarity, I started my project. I started Soulful Garden. I started speaking at events. I started writing. It gains momentum. And I thought that I was, on that path and nothing could stop me. I was wrong. I hit a brick wall. And it just happened recently. About a month ago, there was this 3 weeks period when I caught myself in a limbo. I lost my hunger. I lost my motivation. I began to even doubt myself and my path. Am I meant to do this? Is it really what I want? And I just messing around and refused to take bold action and refused to take risk. But lucky me, I have a loving and fierce husband who refused to sit and watch me waste my potential. And my husband, who is sitting here today, he kept asking me, Milena, why are you so afraid? Why are you afraid? And he forced me to get to the root of this problem. And so this one evening, late in the evening, I sit in my meditation with a sincere heart that I want to be shown a way to break free again. And in that meditation, I was brought back to the earliest childhood memories, some I didn't even know that existed. It was all the stories. Like when I take a bath with my mother and she asked me what grade I have when I'm in school, and I say that I did not have really good grade, and she told me that she might adopt the neighbor's daughters. I know it was just a joke, but yeah. And all the time when I was confused that why Dad would come home so drunk, and why I have such a conflict of the man that I love so much. And was I not enough for him? And all the stories of the man that I dated, all the things. So those stories, and I realized that something happened then, that I did not choose these stories. But I subconsciously internalized this story to these 3 very, very toxic words. I am not enough. Oh, it's 4 words. These 4 very toxic words. I am not enough. And in the past, it was I am not enough for my parents. I am not enough for this lover. And as of now, I've translated to I am not enough for my dream. I'm not enough for my team. I'm not enough for my customer. I'm not enough for my community. And that was the fear that held me back. It was fear that caged me. And I found what was that prison. It wasn't the outer prison. The cage is the inner prison, and that inner prison is fear. So I decide that every day, I begin to say something to me. Whenever I feel that fear creeping up in my chest, I start saying to myself, I am enough for my dream, and I see, I feel, I hear, I know that I am limitless. And I start to spread my body. And that rewired my brain. And then the more I do that, the more I feel the sense of power, and the more I feel that I am truly, truly free. And so what next I learned about freedom is that freedom is a choice that we get to make every single day of our life. Not once, but every single day of our life and every single moment. Whenever we choose to take action, cross the line between fear and action, we are liberating ourselves. This morning I had a choice to make. As I wake up feeling overly excited and overly nervous, I had 2 options of this talk. One was the outline that was safe. I did not need to talk about my suicidal tendency. And one was these stories that I was so afraid of sharing with you. And you know what I chose? That was the choice that I made, and that's why in this very moment I am liberating myself, and that's why I have a chance of helping you, maybe to poke you, to free yourself as well. Imagine a world. I want you to imagine a tomorrow, because the theme of today is Rethink Tomorrow. Imagine a tomorrow where all of us get to be who we really are. All of us get to do what we deeply want to do in our heart, and all of us get to offer our talents and give to this world to create a magnificent life for us and a magnificent life for us all. Imagine that tomorrow. That is the tomorrow that I want to be a part of, and that is the tomorrow that I'm fighting for. Thank you.